The origins of wizardry. In the oldest stories, long before kingdoms were drawn on maps, there are tales of those who listened more carefully than others. These were not kings nor priests, but seekers. They charted the stars, traced the growth of roots, studied the flight of birds, and from such observations built a strange language of power. They were the first wizards. Unlike sorcerers whose strength was a gift of bloodline, or shamans who bound themselves to spirits, wizards began with nothing but questions. Their only weapon was patience, their only tool memory. Through long study they discovered that the world was not inert but alive, bound by laws that could be coaxed, persuaded, and bent. It is said that the first wizards were astronomers and healers. They understood rhythm, the pull of the tides, the breath of storms, the pulse of the body. Over time, rhythm became ritual and ritual became spellcraft. The wizard's power was not in commanding nature, but in convincing it. Fire was not summoned, but invited. Stone did not move by force, but by name. The nature of wizardry. Wizardry is not wild magic. It is a discipline. Each spell requires study, calculation, and precision. A wizard's incantation is half poetry and half equation. Symbols must be placed with care, gestures aligned to unseen currents, syllables spoken in exact cadence. The smallest error can collapse months of preparation. For this reason, wizardry is often slower than sorcery, less dramatic in the moment, but infinitely more stable and enduring. A sorcerer may throw a fireball in anger, but a wizard may keep a city's torches lit for centuries. At its core, wizardry is the art of translation. Wizards translate human intent into the hidden grammar of the universe. Their staffs, grimoires, and diagrams are not mere props but instruments of alignment, helping the fragile human voice harmonize with the deeper resonance of creation. Powers and practices. The domains of wizardry are vast, yet structured. For great practices are most often recorded. First, elemental binding, the persuasion of fire, air, earth, and water. Wizards do not create these forces but borrow, redirect, and reshape them. The flame in the palm is drawn from nearby sparks. The wall of stone is called from the earth beneath one's feet. Second, illusion and veilcraft, the shaping of perception. Wizards learn that sight and sound are as malleable as clay, and with subtle adjustments, reality itself can be masked or rewritten. Third, divination. Not prophecy, but probability. Through signs, patterns, and long study, wizards learn to glimpse what is likely, not what is fated. They read the world as one reads a book, searching for hints of what lies a page ahead. Fourth, alchemy. The blending of the physical and the arcane. Here, the laboratory and the library converge. Substances are transformed, not only by flame and mixture, but by formula and word. Alchemy blurs the line between science and sorcery, and many argue it is wizardry at its purest. Schools of magic. Over centuries, wizards divided themselves into schools. Some pursued the destructive art of evocation, the shaping of raw elements into weapons. Others turned to abjuration, building walls of force, wards, and protections. There were those of enchantment, weaving charm into the minds of men, and those of necromancy, who studied the border between life and death, seeking mastery of what most feared. Each school was less a creed than a specialization, for most wizards understood that true mastery required balance. Yet their rivalries shaped history. Evokers were often sought by kings for war. Diviners whispered into the ears of rulers. Necromancers hid at the edges of society, feared for their dealings with what should remain still. Towers and tomes. The image of the wizard in the high tower is no accident. Wizards withdrew not for pride but for necessity. Study required silence. Experiments demanded isolation. Their towers rose not only from stone, but from the need to stand apart from the chaos of the world. Within those chambers, vast libraries grew, filled with grimoires of fragile parchment and ink that glowed faintly in moonlight. Each grimoire was more than a book. It was a life's work, a map of spells discovered, diagrams perfected, and failures recorded. The staff, too, was more than ornament. It was a focus, a channeling rod that allowed fragile human hands to conduct forces greater than themselves. To lose one's staff was to lose control. To lose one's grimoire was to lose half a life. The price of knowledge. Yet wizardry was never without cost. Knowledge is heavy, and pursuit without end can consume the pursuer. Many a wizard grew frail, body withering as mind sharpened. The great warning inscribed in the Book of Glass Rivers reads, "Haste is a wound to the world," a reminder that careless magic does not only destroy the caster, but scars the earth itself. Craters, twisted forests, rivers turned to glass. These scars are the silent testimony of failed experiments. Moreover, the line between wizard and tyrant was always thin. Knowledge is power, and power tempts. For every wizard who taught fire to a village to guard against storms, there was another who demanded tribute for the same gift. Thus, the wizard became both guardian and oppressor in human memory. Figures of legend. The chronicles speak of wizards whose names became legend. There was Myrdain the listener, who could hear the voices of stone and built bridges that sang as travelers crossed them. There was Caltharus the Ashen, who bound fire to his will but was consumed by it, leaving only a tower of blackened glass. In the eastern lands, stories tell of Asara, who wrote spells in water so that only the patient could read them, each ripple a syllable, each wave a sentence. Not all legends end in ruin. Some wizards became protectors of kingdoms, warding cities with unseen shields, ensuring harvests with gentle rains, preserving libraries through centuries of flame. But always, their legacy is double-edged. Awe and fear, gratitude and dread. The decline. As centuries turned, wizardry began to wane. Kingdoms grew wary of their power. Priests declared them rivals to the divine. Scholars without magic discovered sciences that explained much of what wizards once guarded. Some say the decline came from within, that the last true wizards sealed away their greatest secrets, fearing misuse. Others whisper that wizardry has not died but gone to ground, hidden in plain sight, waiting for those patient enough to seek it again. The legacy. Today, the wizard endures more in story than in flesh. The image remains. The tower, the staff, the robe heavy with stars. Yet behind the symbol lies a deeper truth. The wizard is not a creature of fantasy, but of human striving. They embody the hunger to understand, the courage to seek, and the danger of reaching too far. They remind us that knowledge is never free, that every question answered opens another door, and that beyond each door lies both light and shadow. The wizard is not God, nor demon. They are the reflection of us at our most curious, our most brilliant, and our most reckless. And in their legend we hear a warning, that to know is to risk, and that the hunger for what the world has yet to yield may be the greatest spell and the greatest peril of all.